Look, you're probably trying to make money in a side hustle this year. Well, you might not think about some problems, some concerns. What happens if I told you that side hustle could disappear almost instantly? Well, in this video, I need to talk to you about a warning that got a lot of attention from maybe you and others like you in this whole side hustle gig economy space, just trying to make money on your own time. And there really was, again, a very serious warning. And I'm going to address that in this video. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to also share with you 3 ways to protect your income this year. So I appreciate you joining the video today. If this is the first time that you and I are meeting, my name is Mike. I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I started my side hustle in 2015 right here in Pittsburgh. I did it in San Diego, California. And over that time, driving for most every single niche app platform in the side hustle space, there's a lot of good opportunities. I'll be honest with you, but there's concerns that you need to be aware of. So what are we talking about? If you don't know, we're talking about this. Really a video that got a whole lot of attention from you and the community, just posted within the last 24 hours. Garnering now over 10,000 views in under 1 day. So obviously this is very important. This is important to me. This is important to you. So that's why I wanted to have a deeper conversation with you today about what we were talking about. That video, as you can see here, titled, this is kind of a meta, right? I'm kind of next to myself here. It's very meta, right? A warning to all DoorDash dashers and really at large, all gig workers. So if you haven't seen that video, feel free to watch it after this one. It is linked down below in the description. But I want to have a structured conversation with you today. Now, if you haven't seen that, don't worry. This is the summation of the thesis of that video. Basically, it states, hey, you can be deactivated, booted, fired, terminated from any of these apps or platforms for many reasons. Some of which may seem unfair or just blatantly, dude, straight up wrong, man. And in that video, if you haven't seen that, I shared 3 stories. One from a subscriber that I met, his name was Paul. He was deactivated from Uber, the rideshare platform, after 15,000 rides from a fraudulent claim from a rider. Now, I was deactivated from the Lime charging platform, the Lime scooter charging platform, because they left the marketplace. I was also declined. I was deactivated from DoorDash because of what they deemed as referral fraud, linking affiliate links down below in the description of videos like this, even though I received an email directly from DoorDash stating that it was okay and it was double checked. So we need to talk about this and protect your income. So here's what we're going to do today, folks. I have an agenda for you. 3 ways, this is what we're going to cover in this video today. 3 ways to protect your income. Curated questions for you that I've developed that I really need to pick your brain here. I really want you to think about. We're going to go over some team reactions from those in the community like yourself, and then stay until a little bit later, maybe 15, 20 minutes after that training, because I want to take your live Q&A and really open a dialogue, because this is a very important subject, really deactivations, terminations, wrongful deactivations, and the like. And then lastly, I want to give you what I'm calling an E3 game plan going into 2022. And folks, the 3 stories of deactivations that we talked about in that video, it's not a one-off thing. The reason that I think that got a lot of attention, and the reason we're talking about this today, is I'll be honest with you, I have heard the story similar to Paul, really, fraudulent claims, deactivations, what have you, immediate deactivation. I have heard this since 2015, 2014, really when I was looking into all this stuff. I have heard this year after year in niche after niche. That's why this really applies to anyone in the gig economy. So again, I want to give you some measures to protect yourself. 3 simple ways to protect your income. Number 1, you got to diversify your apps, your niches, your activity levels. Now, if you've heard me say that before, like, all right, this dude saying you got to diverse. Look, I'm saying that because this is the foundation of building your income, especially in the gig economy. I'm here to support you. man, I want you to make as much money as possible because I want to make as much money as possible. That's the end goal. My job is to help you make money in different side hustles. Foundations, folk, you got to diversify your apps, your niches. So if you just do food delivery, you need to try something else. You need to try affiliate income. I'm betting, over half of those watching this maybe haven't even experimented with affiliate income. It's a huge earner. Social media, there's a lot of opportunities out there. And activity levels. So when I say active versus passive, are all of your revenue streams relying on you to be there? Do you have to be present to make the money? You're trading your time for your money. There's only so much time. There's only so many things you can do at once. So keep that in mind. You need to protect by diversifying and diversifying your activity streams. Number 2, this is a big one. Lean in to sustainable and scalable revenue streams, especially owned revenue streams. Now, what I mean by that is, think about your revenue streams at large, folks. I teach you here to make money, but hopefully also some self-development, building different revenue streams. And I want to teach you this year and going into 2022 is you need scalable and ideally owned revenue streams. You don't own that food delivery revenue stream. You're at the, let's say, mercy of different pay changes. We saw with Lime, folks, this is real stuff. Drop a like if you're getting value in this video. We saw with Lime, they left an entire marketplace. We saw with Amazon restaurants, they left the entire globe, basically. They shut down Amazon restaurants. You don't own that revenue stream. Well, what about scalable? What does that mean? Scalable, you can't scale food delivery at a certain point. We help you here on the channel. Me and my brother, really our small team here, is maximizing your income on side hustle apps. But there's a ceiling. You can only make $40 an hour if it's crazy on fire, let's say. Or with rideshare, maybe 50 if it's a holiday, right? And it's super on fire. Maybe you're in a niche marketplace. You happen to find a gap in the market. Well, I want you to think about scalable revenue streams. Again, selling a product, contracting work, maybe building a team of your own over time. Or if you don't want to go with the whole building your own kind of entrepreneur route, which is completely fine, think about just standard W-2, right? Standard W-2 jobs where you can scale, invest in your skill sets to raise the number, your income over time. Because if this sounds like, hey, we're going a lot bigger than the side hustle economy, that's exactly right. Yes, we are, folks. Because again, this can be, and it is, a volatile industry. So I want you to build, number 2, scalable and ownable revenue streams. And number 3, again, we'll bring it back to the side hustle economy here. Protect against fraudulent claims. So speaking in the immediate, I mentioned this, that investing in a dash cam is number 1. I saw a few in our community, and I think this is a good call, investing in a dash cam immediately after that video. Recording the exterior, the interior of the cabin. If you can have GPS tracking dash cams as well, we highlighted the Vantrue N2S, not sponsored, that has a GPS tracking capabilities as well. Is there anything else that you can do to prevent against fraudulent claims? Anything and all that you can do to help protect your income. Real simple. 3 ways to protect your income. So folks, I want to ask you 3 questions of my own, 3 curated questions. Who has more control? You or the app or platform? Answer this right now in the comments or the live chat. Who has more control? You or the app or platform? So as I look for your response right now in the live chat or the comments, and I'll be here definitely after the live stream to read your comments here, here's my thoughts on this. Folks, if you let these apps and platforms be in control, we're talking about your revenue generally, then they're going to be in control of your revenue. I've done this as a full-time job as well. I lost my job in San Diego. I think that was 2019 or so. That was a while ago, but I was pushed to do these gig apps full time. So if you're, again, fully relying on it, you are exactly fully reliant on it. So I want you to take control of your income streams, diversifying, like we mentioned, right? One of the 3 ways to protect your income, building a scalable and an owned revenue stream, and diversifying. So if something happens, folks said, hey, I mean, you got deactivated from DoorDash. And I said at the time, that sucks, but it's okay. I have different revenue streams. I'm not reliant on those revenue streams. Patty says, you and folks, I see in the video today. I appreciate you being here. I see Patty, Kazi, Sludge, Paul. Thanks for being here, everyone, in the video today. So question number 2, should you be nervous about deactivations? Think about that. You're going out there like, all right, I'm driving for Uber today. I'm doing Shift, Amazon Flex. Amazon Flex, I think there's a little heightened sense because I've heard this from the community. Amazon Flex can be pretty quick with that ban hammer, folks. Should you be nervous when you go out there and you're driving on these platforms? Let me know in the live chat or the comment section. And again, let me give you my feedback on this is I do not think you should be nervous. Let me bring it down a second. Let's just calm down here a second. I believe just overall, no, I don't think you should be nervous about deactivations. I think the percent of drivers that are deactivated, most of them, there's some kind of infraction. There's abusing the systems. For instance, no longer on DoorDash, for instance, if you're a Dasher, listen to this. You cannot multi-app in the way of taking 2 different orders from 2 different apps at the same time. I never recommended that. You should not be doing that. But now more than ever, you can't do that because there's timers. There's expected arrival times. And if you violate that, it's a contract violation for extreme lateness on DoorDash. So yeah, if you're doing that, and you can be deactivated. Other infractions, obviously extreme unprofessionalism, erratic driving if you're doing Uber. I think those are all merited. Okay. But no, generally, if you're following the terms of service, if you're not abusing any kind of systems here, if you're not taking any risks with, again, kind of sketchy multi-apping, what have you, no, I don't think generally you should be nervous about deactivations. Third question, what is your business and revenue end goal? And right after this, folks, we're going to get into some of your actual reactions from that video. So please, if you are getting value in this video, definitely drop a like on this. And if you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to join a team of over 65,000 helping you make money in different side hustles. So again, I appreciate it. If you are getting value, dropping a like on this video. What do you think? Let me know in the comments of the live section or the live chat here. And my thoughts on this, your business and revenue end goal. If you're trying to make, let's say, I don't know, 60, 70K a year, whatever it is, whatever the number is for you, you need to think about, can I reverse engineer that number from the gig economy? Here's the thing. Let me share with you a story that I hear all the time across socials. So we actually did a video on this. I'll link it up in a card above. But there's always stories of hustlers like yourself that, you'll see it in the news every now and then that says, this person's making like 100,000, right? You've heard those stories like this Uber driver in New York makes 100,000 a year. Like, whoa, maybe I can make 6 figures doing the gig economy. Here's a problem with that. And here's why I need you to think about your business and your revenue end goals is think about the scalability and the ownership of that revenue stream. Do you want to be working on DoorDash or Uber or Amazon for like 60 hours a week, dude? Like you're working all the time. A lot of it, from my personal opinion here and hearing these stories over the years, the only way you're going to make like 70, 80, 90K, if we can get honest here about numbers, is to overexert yourself working on some of these apps here. Just my opinion, versus diversifying with the what? The active and the semi-passive revenue streams that we talked about. And I think, again, there's a lot of different options here. I see Sludge says, learn how to invest. Exactly. We've talked about many different hustles that you can include in your portfolio, including investing. Absolutely. So let's get into some of your responses on that video here, because I do want to get into live question and answer shortly. If you have questions, get your questions ready. We're going to be answering your questions live here shortly. So responding to that video, let's get into some of your responses here. Number one, from Olympia, Washington, stating, be sure to follow local laws if you install a dash cam. For example, it is illegal to record the conversation of passengers in the car without their permission in the state of Washington. Well, guess what? That's also the case here in Pennsylvania. So folks, if you are going to invest in a dash cam, which is, one of the three ways that we're going to protect our income is protecting against fraudulent claims, is you need to be aware if your state is what's called a two-party consent state or not, which means just that. You need both parties to consent to acknowledge, in this case, that there may be video and audio recording. So how do I do that? I don't want to awkwardly say, hey, is it okay if I record this conversation? No. All you need to do, go on Amazon and get some window cling stickers that says video and audio recording in progress. Or, you've seen it, the smile you're on camera. Those are disclosures. Now, I would get the first, I get the prior, rather than the latter, but that's all you need. Disclose it, put it on all your windows, and check your state regulations. Cooking on the Farm stated, this is so true. It is why dash cams and being active on so many platforms is so very important. Also a solid reason why to have a connection to a lawyer. Again, in response to that video warning about deactivations. It's not a bad idea. Again, the dash cam. And I mentioned, if you feel like, pay attention to this, especially if you haven't seen that video. If you feel like you may have been deactivated wrongfully, and especially if you have evidence, then I would not be against escalating it with these companies and at least mentioning that you have legal consult and going from there, of course. Tone commented, that's why I just do food delivery. Most people are cool, but it's always those few fools that ruin the day. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I always try to bring you both sides of everything, including, deactivations here. I think, most customers are fine. I think if you do rideshare, food delivery, Amazon, your experiences generally are going to be fine. But the story that we shared in that video, Paul, our driver, had 15,000 rides on Uber. So, I've done Uber, I've done Lyft. Over time, statistically, you're going to have some bad apples. It's just, hopefully we don't run into one that causes that kind of a problem. Again, protect yourself, dash cam, etc. Nextly, this one's a little tiny. I'll read it out for you again here. Dora stated, I really hope to see a lot more people talk about the background check company, Checker, and how even when you have proof that the information that they are reporting on you is not right, they refuse to remove that false information. They then report that false information to Grubhub and other companies that can affect your ability to do rideshare, food delivery, what have you. They have done that to me twice. Now, I highlighted this comment from Dora. Now, it doesn't have to be Checker. I just want to generally talk about companies that run these background checks on these apps. And yeah, all of them, they do use Checker. They've used Checker for years, really, since I started in 2015. And I highlighted this because I had this happen to me on Checker, on my background check, is false information. So here's what I did, and I appreciate Dora sharing this comment here, is they'll give you a copy of the background check. It lists your addresses for the past, X amount of years, but it'll list prior addresses. Obviously, they're going to go over federal, states, criminal background checks, your can't remember the word for it. Your driving history, I forget what it's called, but your driving history, right? Tickets and infractions. And mine had an incorrect address. It had some random address on it that I didn't live there, and they had it as a prior residence. So I did contact them. And now from my experience, they got it removed very quickly. They got it removed. I said, hey, I've never lived here. The other ones are fine. So in Adora's case, if you do have Checker or one of these companies that's they're giving you problems, I would just ask to speak to someone else. You know, it's wrong. It's wrong information. So, I mean, I've worked in a call center. I understand how these inquiries come in. You could just have someone new and experienced. Frankly, maybe they're just having a bad day. Just ask to speak with someone else. Or call on a different day, a different time to try to reach someone else. I wanted to share that one for you as well. Corey asks, or states rather, I will never understand why these gig companies don't try to look into some of these cases, extreme cases when there's a complaint. Like, I get they don't really care, but I feel like giving someone with 15,000 completed jobs, referring to Paul in that video, without investigating a little bit first is just stupid. Eventually, they will have kicked off all the people who actually take the jobs seriously and try to do a decent job and give good customer service. Sooner or later, they won't be having anyone good working on the platform, and the customers will be the ones who suffer for it. Corey, I appreciate you sharing that. Folks, I have heard this one as well. I have heard this one as well over the years. Like, dude, if they're just going to knock off, especially veteran drivers or, workers, what have you, then, I mean, just the people who don't care and are really not trying are going to be left. Here's the thing. In my honest opinion, I don't think that's the case. Here's why. Because to sign up for these platforms, generally you got to be 18. For rideshare, you got to be 19. It depends on the state and, where you're watching this video from. Frankly, there's always people coming up. There's always people aging in to the qualification. So, younger people who are just reaching the age, students, a lot of the times are doing these side hustles sometimes. Or those who just honestly, again, they haven't tried it yet and they want to. So yes, it may seem like, well, first of all, it may seem like there's more deactivations than there really are. I don't think a lot of drivers and workers are getting axed. I don't. I think these are more fringe cases, but obviously we're going to hear about these fringe cases, 15K rides and you get terminated. And again, this is just a driver that I get it. Those resonate. Statistically, I don't think you're going to have to worry about deactivations too much, but I understand. And, I empathize with Paul and those workers and drivers who do get wrongfully terminated. And again, I feel like the DoorDash deactivation for myself was unfair, and I've gone through 2 failed appeals processes with evidence. But, it is touch and go because, again, having heard this over the years, I think really the average median of workers kind of remains. I don't necessarily see, okay, hey, this year, the quality exceptionally dropped. Hope that makes sense. Folks, I'm going to take a drink of water here. Do drop a like if you're getting value here in this video. And if you didn't know, check out our Amazon storefront. It is linked down below for the best accessories, as well as yourdrivermike.com for the best A to Z course on mastering food delivery platforms. That's fantastic. If you're new, it's going to teach you all the basics that you need to know. And Craig says, we'll close it up here and then I want to take your questions. So folks, get ready with your questions right now. After this response from Craig, I want to take your questions in the live chat. Or again, if you're watching on the replay, I'll try to be in the comments as much as I can. So what I want you to do is put some question marks before your question, or put a Q with a colon and put your question so it helps your comment stand out. Again, ask your questions right now in the live chat. Put some question marks, put a Q, something to help your question actually stand out as a question. So Craig responds to that video and states, what if I put a referral link on a website? So this is big because it's a pretty macro question, just a website in general. So now I'm not going to speak to every gig app out there and their terms of service. It's up to you to go over the terms of service on all of these apps if you would like. I understand, including myself, I don't read all the terms of service, and I would be surprised if a lot of us read, I mean, if we're just honest here, right, all of the terms of service. But I'll tell you this generally when it comes to sharing affiliate links. Lean in for this, drop a like here because we have not talked about this much at all on this channel. A lot of these apps bar you, they do not want you to post affiliate links really anywhere online if we're going to be safe. Yes, there's places that it's probably okay, but I just want to let you know, you might want to be very cautious, especially if this is a public forum, a public website. So if you're sharing this, in the DMs with the buddy on Instagram or Facebook, or if you snap a link, can you even do that on Snapchat? I don't know. But if you're sharing links between friends and family members, that is the key word here. That's a key word. If you're sharing your link with friends and family, even coworkers, that's fine. People in the office, that's fine, generally. But once you start sharing an affiliate link across a public forum, if you're posting this on Reddit, Facebook community boards like I did and learned from my case, across social media especially, you cannot pay to advertise your affiliate link. You cannot put a Google, I don't know who would do this, but you can't pay for Google ads to click on your link. Now, affiliate programs have changed a lot since 2015. Years ago, I remember Lyft would offer you business cards, postcards, and more that you could buy and put out through your community with your affiliate link. And I did that because it was allowed, right? I would go to their kind of merch store or whatever they called it, and I would just post my little business cards on some community boards and coffee shops. It's a lot different. So again, just generally though, websites, I would kind of avoid it, especially on public facing community boards. So what do you think? Let's hear your thoughts. I want to answer your questions live in this video right now. So let's do it. Post your questions, put a question mark, put a Q, and I want to answer some of your questions here. So let's see here. Question from Comma. Do you think it's because you did this? Oh, absolutely. That you got deactivated. Yeah. My deactivation, as stated in that video, it was quoted as a referral fraud August of 2020. So it's been a while. It's been over a year. August of 2020, because DoorDash did not want me putting affiliate links down below in the description. Here's the thing. That was 2020. I had affiliate links, really since 2017, since I started on YouTube. But, and here's a problem with terms of service, is they updated their terms of service. But here's the other thing, is DoorDash sent me an email, that August, stating, hey, your account was deactivated, because it was deactivated the day prior. Less than 24 hours, they sent me that email that said, hey, just want to let you know you were deactivated for referral fraud. We've checked your referral history and it's fine. You've been reactivated in less than 24 hours. So like 4 or 5 months went by, and then January of this year of 2021, and then they deactivated me for the same thing. Even though I have a written response that says the referrals are fine. So I took action. I immediately removed the referral links. I responded to them and said, hey, I remove them. I will keep them removed from any descriptions. I'll create an affiliate program if we want to, because there were some affiliate payouts. To be honest, I got affiliate payouts, and I said, well, hey, let's just come out with a flat payout rate, for social media referrals, etc., and no response to multiple emails. Now, I mean, I get it. If it's in the terms of service, it's in the terms of service. I'm not, denying any ownership there. I'll take ownership. If it's in the terms of service, guys, I absolutely get it. But the problem came with that email that said it was okay. That's why I had the appeals that are still ongoing. Regina, good question here. How often does DoorDash do challenges? So challenges, folks, that's a batched bonus. So DoorDash will say, hey, do a certain amount of deliveries as a challenge. We'll give you an extra like $20, $30. Regina, I don't see it too often here in Pittsburgh. I mean, my brother, Matt, still drives, so I still have access to the DoorDash platform. I mean, I can't drive, obviously, but I can at least see what they're doing. In that case, not too often, but do keep in mind it does vary based on driver and by marketplace. So I would just keep an eye on it. But if you're not seeing it pop up a lot, I mean, I don't think that's too uncommon there. Let's see. Post your questions right now, folks. With a Q or question, I want to get your questions here. This is your time to ask questions about deactivations, terminations, or don't be afraid to ask about a side hustle or just making money in general. Don't worry. You can ask whatever you want in the side hustle, making money space. Now is your time. Tony asks, what do I do if someone falsely claims I didn't drop off the food? That's a great question, Tony. So this refers to customer stated that the order never arrived. It's one of the contract violations on DoorDash. It's new. It was really introduced to late 2020, 2021 is those contract violations. So what I would do, what I've heard at least, is if you want to save pictures from your delivery confirmations. So you can take it with your actual camera roll with the home door number if you can, right? The apartment number, the door number in the same shot as the bag, right? The delivery, the food, right? If you have an app or if you can take a picture with a way that documents the location and the time, that would be great. But just in general, I mean, there's metadata that has that as well. It's a little technical, but you can store those pictures if you really want. You can get an SSD, a solid state drive. You can catalog, by day. You can say like December 8th, whatever, Wednesday or whatever it was. And you can have all the pictures from that day. You create another folder. There's the next day, all of my confirmations, if you really want to. I mean, that's pretty intense, but if you really want documentation. Plus, hopefully you have a dash cam to have video that documents the time. Like, hey, look, I was driving. I was right there at this time. Here's a picture, because you will have that over time. Eventually, you will have that. A customer states that they didn't receive it when they probably did, or when they did. Folks, put your questions here. I need to see it's a question with a question mark or a Q. Post your questions about deactivations, terminations, side hustle, or making money. Now it's time for you to answer questions. If I don't get questions from you, we'll move on to your E3 game plan for 2022. So I appreciate you sharing your questions here. Liquid asks, any idea why be cold Fridays and burning hot Saturdays and cold Sundays? I live in Portland, Oregon. On weekends, it should be off the charts. It isn't. If we're talking about demand levels, so why is it it's slower on Fridays and then busier on Saturdays and slower on Sundays? So Liquid, I always say trend analysis, but what I would do generally is to drive multiple weekends. If you're driving multiple weekends and the same pattern continues, you got to figure out why. But I would guess that over the course of a quarter, like 3 months of driving on the weekends, I would imagine that Fridays and Saturdays, probably even Sundays, are going to be busy. You may just be hitting a pocket. It may seem like that for some reason. If you want to double check, I will look at your data. We have a spreadsheet on your drivermike.com. It is free. You can track the numbers and you can say, okay, I'm driving the same time on Saturdays, and Sundays. Why am I making the most money, whatever, on Fridays? Should I try a different area of the market on Saturdays, Sundays, whenever it is? Should I maybe shift my time on Saturdays and Sundays? Because maybe Sundays people are getting ready for Monday, they're turning a little bit earlier, and maybe you can hit a better time then. So Tony with a question here. Appreciate asking here. Tony asks, do you have any advice for drivers in Glendale, Arizona, Phoenix area, if you have any knowledge in that region? So Tony, it's tougher to speak to the specific marketplaces. I'm vaguely familiar, with that Arizona marketplace. Let me speak to you on what works, because I can tell you what works here. So if you're in Phoenix, I'm trying to think what's around there, Chandler, different areas. I think Tucson's too far away. I think that's southeast. But again, Phoenix, Chandler, Glendale area, let's say. What works is research and experience. What works is power strips combined with trend analysis and driving and finding the hottest days and times to drive. That's what works, Tony. So in San Diego, well, here in Pittsburgh, I'll just say here in Pittsburgh, because this is the immediate, right? I know over experience and research, and again, just experience here in Pittsburgh, I know that Oakland students, it can almost be a word association with you. If I say, boom, this district, Chandler, Phoenix, and again, if we go more micro for your level here, but Oakland students, Lawrenceville, kind of trendy, long strip of bars and restaurants and stuff. Shady Side, it's very more affluent area, nice shopping strip on Walnut Street, right? South Side, it's nightlife, lively, college crowd, longer stretch all along the south part of the city, right? I just go on and on here. That comes from knowledge. So knowing all of that, knowing these different power strips with the areas that are really dense with restaurants, then I know, okay, South Side is good for this. For what? Short, quick orders. It could bring me up over the hill to Mount Oliver. I don't necessarily want that. Tougher driving on the slopes, right? And then over time, I'll understand, okay, I want to drive in Oakland or Shady Side because it keeps me in busy zones. Their orders are pretty close by because it's honestly just restaurants to student dorms and student housing. That's good. It keeps me in busy zones. And it's super dense because, again, students or more, maybe Shady Side, more affluent customers are spending more, hopefully a higher tip, right? So folks, I know that's a long answer, but I always say, and I appreciate you asking that, Tony, it's not hard. Food delivery is not hard. Pick up this burger, bring it to Sam 7 minutes away. That's not hard. It's but what makes it hard is that it's not hard, is how do you actually maximize your income? That's how you do it. Experience, trend analysis, etc. Natural, I appreciate that. Lots of useful info on this channel. Appreciate that, folks. We have even more content than ever, different niches. We just highlighted Facebook Marketplace selling, OfferUp, Mercari for the first time on the channel. I interviewed my brother Adam, who is my cousin. My brother's Matt. My cousin Adam, on his experience selling on those platforms there. Brand new stuff coming to 2022 as well. Going deeper than ever, making money here in the side hustle and just in general. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Folks, any other questions? Leave your questions right now in the live chat with a question mark, a Q. Let me know what questions you have here. This is your chance to ask questions about the side hustle, about terminations. Should I be worried? Oh, here's a good question. Again, I need to see a Q or a question mark. It really helps your question stand out. I'm glad I saw this. Big guy, thanks for commenting here. Asks, do you think there's a market for auctioneers? That is really, now I'm not exactly sure your question here. As far as job opportunities, are you an auctioneer? Are you looking for job opportunities? Are you looking to maybe do more with it somehow? I'm not really sure. I'll just speak to the macro. If you're still in the live chat, let me know what you mean by this question. But if you have a skill set, okay, I see in the live chat, definitely if you can clarify on this, what you're asking here. If you have a skill set, monetize it. So let's say you're an auctioneer, big guy. Can you monetize that by creating like a $15 course, auctioneering for beginners? And do not doubt your skill set, folks. I mean, if you just thought like, dude, like, come on, who's trying to buy that? You will be surprised. And again, to tie it back into that Facebook video with Adam has sold empty boxes of video games, folks. Empty boxes. There are buyers out there because what you're doing when you sell something is solving a problem. That's the reason people buy. Again, if you're a beginner in the food delivery space, go to yourdrivermike.com/delivery, enroll, take that course. You get free one-on-one support with me for 1 month. It'll give you all the basics. There you go. It'll solve your problem with how do I do this whole thing. But again, if you have a skill set, monetize it. If you are doing any kind of course, honestly, I would go minimum of $50. If we're talking like pricing right now, 15. I mean, again, it's whenever you're thinking about pricing a course specifically, we'll say, you need to think about what the end user, their value and the value proposition of investing $15. You're like, all right, how much value am I really going to get for like $15? I can get like a t-shirt for that. Like, it's probably not that great. $50, there's some kind of investment here. Frankly, if you're selling something more in depth, I would go a minimum of $100. The Mastering Delivery course, I believe right now it's at $127. By the way, folks, that price is going to go up. There's going to be an update in 2022. If you want to get that course now, that price is going to go up. It's $127 right now. Normally, I don't even tell you pricing here, but I would invest right now because frankly, that course gives you thousands of dollars in value, time savings, etc. But yeah, if you're doing a more in-depth course, I would think maybe a $99 to start and go from there. All right, folks, any other questions? We're going to move on to your E3 game plan. Let's do it. Why not? Let's get into your E3 game plan for 2022. If I missed your question, post it down below in the comments here. 3 things, real simple. Here's what you're going to do in 2022. 3 things. To protect yourself from deactivation, termination, to maximize your income generally in 2022. This is what I did. This is how I went from, again, being let go. One company went under. I lost all my income. They owed me $4,000 in back pay. Never got it. Working a sales job that I sold one thing, which was like completely lucky, right? Found out that hard selling wasn't for me, and it isn't. I'd rather just help. And to grow a business here on YouTube that has generated over 6 figures. Here's how you take charge of your income. Number 1, what I did is I educated myself. My story, if you don't know, is, I worked in customer service, out of college, here in Pittsburgh. And I knew I wanted to take charge of my income. I was making like 40-some thousand, which is fine. Whatever number is cool for you, I'm happy for you. It's fine. But I knew I wanted to take charge of my income. So I educated. I relentlessly educated. If there's any word we can throw in front of these 3 E's, it's relentless. I was relentlessly driven to educate myself at the time on sales. I shadowed with our sales team as much as I could. I'm sure I bugged the heck out of them. I said, hey, can I sit with you guys at lunch? I read, I listened, audiobooks are for me, whatever you want. But I listened to all the great, sales books, right? I still do immerse myself in selling, entrepreneurship podcasts as well. I was educating myself first. Because I'll tell you, if you want to try anything new, dude, if you just jump in with no education, no anything, no experience, like, dude, you're gonna sink, man. If you don't take swimming lessons first, and I throw you in the pool, what's gonna happen? At the very minimum, it's gonna look like you don't know what you're doing. Number 2 is execute. So once I had all that knowledge in sales, we'll say now more realized is YouTube and building a business. Because, I'll be honest with you. Again, I educated and I executed on sales. And I found out I kind of sucked at hard selling, dude. I mean, to me, it was like, who's the best liar? You know, I'd rather genuinely help people. And if I get paid for it, then that's a nice reward. But doing the inverse of that, trying to get paid first, and then, yeah, maybe I help some people, but I'm just trying to hit a quota. And I saw it from some, and, you know, hey, if you're in selling, if you're in hard selling, that's great. I just found out it wasn't for me. Is I still learned from that execution. So I did the same thing with my YouTube business. Is I've been obsessively and relentlessly educating myself since 2017, every single day, folks. Every day educating on YouTube, SEO, building a business, even communication. Talking to you right now, this is live, right? Hello, this is live. And then executing on what I learned. And then number 3 is expanded. This is what you're going to do in 2022, folks. You need to educate before you jump in to a new revenue stream, a venture. Folks, I am looking to get into real estate next year or at the latest 2023. So again, subscribe. We have a lot of new side hustles, money-making opportunities coming. So again, I invite you to subscribe if you're not currently subscribed. If you are a subscriber, thank you. And if you do want to go deeper with us, click that join button down below. If you can't see it, jump over to a laptop or a desktop. Join our inner circle, our VIP. I just posted an exclusive VIP video talking about our roadmap for 2022, a new purchase that's coming to the channel in 2022 and more. So again, click that join button. But expand. So your pattern is going to be, I'm going to educate on a revenue stream, selling a course, a product, a service, starting a new app or niche or gig, whatever. Maybe I want to try Amazon Flex, watch our videos. Maybe you're new to DoorDash or Shipped, whatever it is. Watch the videos, educate yourself. Don't just jump in, because what this does, and you know what the courses like Mastering Delivery does, is it saves you time. It cuts the learning curve from, okay, it's going to take me 6 to 8 months down to learning all the failures of other people. That's why you pay for courses and education, folks, is to learn the failures of others so you don't obviously have to go through the failures yourself. So you're going to learn, you're going to actually execute on what you've learned, the new revenue streams, the new apps, the selling, creating a YouTube channel, whatever it may be. And then once you have, what's the word? Not congruency. It's slipping. I can't think of it, folks. Once you have a depth of knowledge, we'll say it that way. Wait, once you're proficient, I think I was trying to say, once you're proficient and you're seeing success, then you expand. So for instance, here on YouTube, my job was to create a full-time income. That was number 1. Once I created the full-time income through educating and executing on best practices to do that, then I expand. Now I'm looking to hire, right? Bringing on an editor, bringing on my brother Matt and putting him on the payroll, actually building a small team here, is leveling up my courses. Again, we're going to do a lot more with Mastering Delivery, more courses, et cetera, into 2022. New revenue streams, again, expand. Because our whole idea here, folks, is to build a portfolio that is hopefully future-proof. And I've talked about this in that other video. Future-proofing your revenue stream as much as possible. So I hope that makes sense, folks. I love talking about money with you because, again, I want you to be as successful as possible. I want to go places. I want you to go places with me here. So if you did get value in this video, you can click or tap the screen here for my newest video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.